Today wasn't just another quiet holiday media moment. It wasn't just a Christmas ad. And it definitely wasn't just another safe, forgettable political greeting. Today, Canadians saw something rare. They saw three versions of their Prime Minister, revealed in a single day. And together, those three moments told a much bigger story about who Mark Carney really is as a leader. First, Canadians saw a Prime Minister who could laugh. Not forced laughter. Not staged smiles. Real humor. Real timing. Real presence. In a world where political leaders are usually stiff, distant, and overly scripted, Carney did something unexpected. He didn't just appear in a Christmas ad. He performed in it. He leaned into the moment. He smiled. He acted. He let himself be human. And that mattered. Because leadership isn't just about policies, trade talks, or crisis management. Leadership is also about connection. Subscribe so you can get regular updates. About reminding people that the person making decisions at the highest level still understands joy, still understands timing, still understands how people feel. The ad itself was clever. An unidentified object detected in Canadian airspace.
Good evening, Prime Minister.
Minister, we spotted an unidentified object on our navigation radar. It's moving fast over Canadian airspace, and all attempts to contact it have failed. Do you think it could be what I think it is?
I don't know, but we'll find out right away. What's the status?
Minister, the unidentified object is approaching from the North Pole at incredible speed. We tried to communicate with it, but none of the frequencies seem to be working.
I think I know who this is. We need to access the secret room.
The secret room, sir?
The secret room. Santa Claus, this is Steve McKinnon, Minister of Transport for Canada. Make sure you stay on your flight trajectory and look after the reindeer. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Canada.
Santa Claus is now authorized to do his deliveries in Canada. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Serious tone. High stakes. And then the reveal, Santa Claus. It was light-hearted. It was funny. But it wasn't shallow. Because beneath the humor was something important, confidence. A leader comfortable enough in his role to show personality. Secure enough to let people see more than just the suit and the podium. And Canadians noticed. That single moment did what dozens of speeches often fail to do. It humanized the office. It softened the distance between power and people. But then came the shift. The laughter faded. The tone changed. And suddenly, Canadians were hearing something very different. Because after the smiles and humor came the part that truly mattered. Carney's Christmas message wasn't polished fantasy. It wasn't pretending everything is fine. It wasn't hiding behind clichés. It was grounded. It was honest. And it spoke directly to the emotional reality people are living in right now. He talked about division. He talked about uncertainty. He talked about anxiety, globally and at home. That alone made it different. Most leaders avoid that territory during the holidays. They keep things light. They stay safe. They say nothing memorable. Carney didn't. He acknowledged what people already feel, but rarely hear reflected by those in power. That the world feels unstable. That the future feels uncertain. That many people are carrying quiet fear alongside their holiday celebrations. But here's what made it powerful. He didn't stop at the darkness. He moved towards something harder and far more meaningful. Hope. Not the empty kind. Not the vague, feel-good kind. The kind rooted in resilience. He spoke about unity, not as a slogan, but as a necessity. He spoke about strength, not as aggression, but as shared resolve. He reminded Canadians that this country has faced hardship before and found its way through by standing together. And then he did something even more unexpected. He spoke about the spiritual meaning of Christmas for Christians. About light following darkness. About service, generosity, forgiveness. But he didn't frame it narrowly. He widened the lens. He reminded Canadians of all backgrounds that the holidays, no matter how you celebrate, carry the same message. That despair is not the end. That kindness still matters. That people are not alone. It was inclusive without being hollow. Personal without being preachy. Emotional without being manipulative. And that's when it became clear. This wasn't a speech designed to be forgotten by New Year's. This was a message designed to land. To stay with people. To reflect the moment Canada is actually living in, not the one politicians usually pretend exists. But then came the third layer. The one many people missed if they weren't paying close attention. Because beneath the warmth, beneath the empathy, beneath the holiday tone, there was steel. And in a Christmas message that is not accidental. Carney spoke directly to the Canadian Armed Forces. He spoke about sovereignty. He spoke about security. And then he said something that cut through the comfort like a quiet warning. Peace is not guaranteed. Security is not automatic. Sovereignty must be protected. That sentence alone changed everything. Because suddenly, this wasn't just a holiday reflection. It was a signal. A reminder. A line drawn calmly but clearly. Canada is peaceful. Canada is kind. Canada is compassionate. But Canada is not naive. And Canada is not weak. That message wasn't only for Canadians. It was for anyone watching. And that's where this Christmas message stopped being symbolic and started being strategic. Because that final layer of Carney's message wasn't accidental. It wasn't ceremonial. And it certainly wasn't routine. When a prime minister chooses Christmas, of all moments, to talk about sovereignty and security, it means something has shifted. This wasn't just about honoring the military. That happens every year. This was about reminding the country and the world that safety is not automatic. And the analysts saw it immediately. They said this wasn't a soft holiday greeting. It was a realistic one. A somber one. A message shaped by the pressures Canada is actually facing, not the ones leaders wish away. Because behind the calm delivery, there was an unspoken presence hanging over every word. Donald Trump. Not mentioned by name. Not shouted. Not dramatized. But unmistakably there. This is the same Trump who has mocked Canada. The same Trump who casually talked about Canada as if it were disposable. The same Trump who floated the idea of Canada as a 51st state, as if sovereignty were a joke. The same Trump who has openly threatened trade, territory, and norms that once felt untouchable. That's the backdrop to this message. And Carney didn't respond with panic. He didn't respond with anger. He didn't escalate. He did something far more effective. He acknowledged reality. He reminded Canadians that peace exists because people defend it. That borders matter because someone protects them. That sovereignty survives because a country takes it seriously. And he sent that message quietly but firmly, during a moment when the world expected softness. That's not fear. That's leadership. And if you believe leadership should be human, honest, and and unafraid to face reality, this is exactly the kind of moment worth paying attention to. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure you stay connected. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and join this growing community as we continue to follow every major shift shaping Canada's future. Because moments like this don't happen often. And when they do, they tell you everything you need to know. Merry Christmas.
Canada debates.